Hi, my name's Ken Schultz. I'm a photographer and I want to introduce you to my new online digital photography course called EASYDSLR. Now I'm going to get back to that connection with the dolphins later, but for now I want to talk about these DSLR cameras, which are the cameras that allow you to look straight through the lens via a prism system and a viewfinder. Now these have a whole bunch of advantages over point and shoot. For one, you can change the lenses, so you can upgrade to more professional quality lenses. They have a huge sensor at the back, so that your image quality is far superior to those of point and shoots, and allowing you to get lower light photographs. They have a much quicker response rate, so when you take photos with these, there's very little time between pressing the button and actually getting the photograph. So that allows you to be able to get more crucial shots better. And of course, the advantages over old school film cameras are huge. You have memory cards which literally can fit hundreds of photographs on them. So with the old film cameras, you'd pretty much get a maximum of 36 shots on a film, and then you'd have to change rolls of film. So with these, you can be shooting hundreds of photographs, which is great for getting your skills up quicker because you can experiment a lot more. And you get instant feedback, so that makes a big difference over the old school film cameras. Now you might be finding, if you've just bought one of these DSLR cameras, you might find that your spouse or family or friends are sort of criticizing you and saying, oh, why are you buying such an expensive toy? But the reality is this is a lot more than a toy. And so once you know the basic settings of these cameras and you start getting better photographs, their criticisms are going to soon be silenced, and they'll be cheering you on, seeing the amazing images that you can get with these cameras. In fact, people are making a full-time living with these cameras. Photographers use the exact same cameras now that you can go buy from online stores and photographic stores for under $1,000. So you can actually get one of these cameras and start to earn money and have a full-time photography business. It certainly is a toy with all the buttons. It's shiny and new and it has all these dials and controls. But the photographs you can get with them are quite stunning once you know how to master those settings and principles that you need to get that. Okay, so the question is, what makes a good photograph? Now there's a whole bunch of things. Some people just say that all you need is light and understand light to get a good photograph. But really there's quite a few key principles that you need to understand. And it's not rocket science, but there are some basic things that you need to know to be able to push your photos to the next level. And basically, once you understand the principles and you start mastering your DSLR camera, then really you can get stunning photographs in your own backyard. You don't really need to travel to some amazing location to get good photographs. And so once you master the camera, then when you do get a chance to go to some exotic location, then you'll get stunning photographs. So I'm definitely of the opinion that you can take an ordinary photograph of an extraordinary subject or an extraordinary photograph of an ordinary subject. So if you have the skills, you can actually get amazing photographs of just simple everyday situations. And that's the point of my course. So with my EASYDSLR photography course, the idea is to build up your understanding of these basic principles that you need. And I actually use a real simple foundation to build upon your knowledge and understanding. And once you master those settings and understand the basic principles, then you can start taking really good photographs and you can use them for your blog, and in fact you can even get to the point where as your photography progresses you could start earning money with your photographs. So the point of this whole online training course that I've created is to condense that information into an easy to digest format. And really it's my 30 years of experience and my experience with these DSLR cameras in more recent years condensed into a whole training series where you can build up your knowledge from the basics to more advanced creative shooting. The other benefit to having this EASYDSLR digital photography course online is you don't have to worry about shipping and delivery charges or anything like that. So wherever you have an internet connection, you can just log in and access your membership site and be able to watch the videos. So that's really convenient. Now onto that free content from my EasyDSLR video course that I promised. So this is an excerpt from the composition video, which is about how to frame your subject or scene. And that really, thinking about framing in a certain way really helps improve your photographs. So I hope you enjoy this excerpt. Now this is just an approximation, because these would actually be the ratios all the way in, but this is showing you how you can start with the beginning of the Fibonacci sequence and it gets closer to that golden mean. And so this is found a lot in nature with shells, and it's been used a lot in architecture. Like I showed you the picture of the Parthenon before. If you actually break up the structure of the Parthenon, you'll see there's elements that fit on those golden mean lines. So it's quite interesting. So it's been used throughout history with art and architecture, and now being discovered a lot in nature as well. Seems to be a really important number and related to aesthetically pleasing things. And they've even called it the divine ratio, and like I said, it's also called the golden mean. So you can find that if you divide your image up into these the golden mean ratios, actually there is a golden mean size where this is 1 and that's 1.618. The ratio between those gives you what's called the golden rectangle, which is a very pleasing size. In fact, the interesting thing is things like even a credit card has that ratio. I don't think the person who invented the credit card sort of necessarily looked at the golden mean to see how to actually size it, but I think it just happened that it was a pleasing to the eye, that particular ratio. And so if you get your image like this and you divide it in that ratio, so that'll be the 1 and that'll be the 1.618, and you can do it the same from the other side, and you break your picture up like that. Now they found that painters and that in the past have found that if interesting things are placed on these, particularly on these points where these lines intersect, it creates a more pleasing image. And like I say, there is the basic simplification of this is thirds, and the thirds lines are actually a little bit out from those. So the golden mean lines come a little bit closer into the middle. But anywhere in those regions, it creates a more pleasing image. So when you're taking a sunset photograph and you've got you got your amazing sunset, great drawing, I know. And so you have let's just say you have the ocean. Instead of placing that ocean straight down the middle, which is all right, but it's not as pleasing to the eye as placing it on close to the golden mean or the thirds line. So that becomes your ocean there and your sunset there. And likewise, you can change it the other way around, where you have a seascape where the horizon line's actually on the thirds line there. So you got mostly water in the foreground, so around 2/3 is water, and then you have a little sky above that. So that's a good way to think about framing your images. Actually, what we'll do now is we'll go to the computer and I'll show you some of the pictures that I've taken, which some of them I thought, wow, these are pleasing to the eye. I thought this, I like the way it looks. And I overlaid the thirds lines and golden means, and it's quite interesting that the ones that I consider more pleasing to the eye usually obey pretty closely the golden mean lines. So there's something inherent about these proportions that make it pleasing. So if the only thing you get from this particular video is to think about placing your images on not straight in the center, but just around the third position, like just in from the thirds, and start experimenting, putting your horizon lines on those positions and putting interesting objects on those points, And that can be like if it's someone's face, for instance, and you've actually got a relatively close-up of the person's face. Their head can be there, like that, and maybe their eyes are on that golden mean position. So that makes a more interesting composition. And you'll find that when you do that, it'll actually, somehow there's something about it that just looks a little bit more appealing. Let's go back to the computer and I'll show you with some images how that can improve your composition thinking about those lines.